What up? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Moda J, and we are locked in. And I want to know what's on your TV. On mine is All American Season 4, the season premiere. And are you ready for some football? Because we got Crenshaw, we got Beverly Hills, but you probably won't get too much football since we know our beloved Coop got shot at the end of season 3, and we want to know how she's doing and if she's gonna make it through it. But before we get into this episode, shout out to the notification gang. If you're new to the channel, you want to be a part of it, hit your subscribe button, turn on your notification bell so you get something every time I upload. Hit that like button, it's the easiest thing you can do. Now, Coop got shot. We know Jordan, he's coming back from concussion. We know Spencer is just trying to make a way and trying to get into college and do his thing. So let's pick up where we left off when Coop got shot. This is All American Season 4, Episode 1. We start off with Layla and Carrie. Carrie is the friend that moved in with Layla last season, and none of us really said we believe her story or what she has going on. She's hanging up the phone on Liv, trying to keep Layla all to herself. Now, they're on a little cliff out in L.A. and they're looking over, and she's like, Layla, hold my hand. I would have like, hey, let's get away from that edge though, you know. I'm just not about to be on the edge. But she gets up there and she says, we can end all of our pain. So it looks like she's been going through a depression moment. And at this point, she feels like she wants to kill herself and commit suicide. So Layla, she's being a good friend and she's screaming and she's trying to stop her from doing that. Because some people, when that mental gets to them, when that mental pain, man, it ain't nothing they can deal with. It turns out Layla was just dreaming. Now, her dad, JP, comes in. This is not the real JP. Where's the original JP? Because this guy doesn't fit the role. He comes in and she's saying, well, my doctor told me there may be some nightmares and things going on during this process. And he's like, oh, everything is going to be all right. He hasn't really been there for Layla, but now he's here and he's trying to, make things right and help her out, especially through this little moment she's in. Spencer's at the graveyard and we don't know who he's talking to, but he's telling them about all of his accomplishments. I'm assuming it's his father because he said my senior year shouldn't have been like this, but I became an All-American. I got back to my school and I got my girl. So he's just, I'm thinking it's his dad that he's talking to, Corey. Like, this is everything that I've done since the time you've been gone. And I'm, hoping that I can keep the string to move forward. Because, Spencer, he's still trying to save the school. He still has to make sure that all of his friends are good. That's just what Spencer does out the kindness of his heart. It's time for some football. We go to the state championship game. Crenshaw versus Beverly Hills. Spencer's out here. He trucks a guy and we get a touchdown. So it's looking good right now. Crenshaw's up in the California State Championship game, 14-10. Crenshaw Chargers versus the Beverly Hills Eagles. It's 10 minutes and 20 seconds left in the second quarter. This is a ball game, people. But don't think that Beverly Hills is some slouch. We got JJ at the starting quarterback. He's out here making moves. He does a little pitch to some dude, look like 33, some random guy. And it's like, hey, they aren't missing Spencer. They got somebody else over here that can do it too. Billy's going to be mad. He's out there. Hey, how about we hold that running back? Let's play some defense. I've been on the sideline. Hey, sir, to be honest with you, all season, we just been worrying about what Spencer and the offense is going to do. Chris and Darnell, we ain't got no defense. In just 4 minutes, Beverly Hills takes the lead, 17-14. I guess Crenshaw does have a defense. They out here stepping it up. They forcing a fumble. Let's go. Let's go, Crenshaw. Crenshaw ends up scoring. They go into halftime up 21-17. Man, this is where the action in All-American happens because we know nothing is ever peachy all day in an All-American episode. It's halftime. Grayson came down to the sideline, so you know it has to be something important if they just letting a random mom come down out the stands. Spencer's got his face all beat up like someone's punching inside of the mask. I ain't never seen no one bleeding like this, but they're telling him, hey, you got to come with us. There's something wrong with Coop. Spencer is being Spencer. They take us back to when he's at the graveyard. Liv, she pulls up to keep him company. And he's over here, oh, okay, thank you. He has his commitment letter to Toledo State. And she's like, you haven't signed it yet. He's like, I'm not going to sign it. I can't leave my family after everything. And I can't leave you. I have to stay here. Spencer, what did we just work on for the first 3 seasons to get you a college scholarship? And now you're talking about, I'm not going to take it. Well, he has till tomorrow to sign. Hopefully we can change his mind because you've been watching this for 3 seasons. I've been watching it for 3 seasons. We don't want to see this kid waste his talent. Come on, Spence. JP's in the kitchen. I'm talking about he making everything they got in the refrigerator. He made it. Bacon, eggs. He looked like he had some sausage out there. Fresh apples, strawberries. Oh, I love strawberries. He ain't had no grapes though. He a little slack and some oranges. Layla comes in and she's jogging and she's like, oh, I didn't mean to startle you. He's like, oh, no, it's good. And she's basically saying, Dad, I'm fine. You don't have to cook for me every day. I'm going to be all right. Now, JP can tell that there's something wrong with his daughter. She's not acting like how she normally does. And he's trying to do everything he can, saying, hey, let's have a family therapist session along with the session that you already have individually. She's like, nah, I don't need to do all that. Matter of fact, I'm about to go to the studio. And he's saying, well, I can drive. She's like, nah, I'm good. The next day after leaving the cemetery, we has to sign his commitment letter. When he gets home, it's kind of an intervention type. We have Dylan in here, Patience, Chris, and you hear Liv say, don't be mad. I kind of told them we're worried about you. And you hear Dylan say, yeah, man, we don't want you to throw your future away, your talent. So what they're trying to do is convince them, hey, even though Coop isn't here, you need to go ahead and pursue your career in the football because that's what that's what your future holds. And Patience says, since Coop isn't here, I'm going to be the one to say it for. Go, man, use your talent and be something. Be better than all of this. Go out and make something of yourself. So if I'm Spencer, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to sign it. I'm definitely not sitting around Crenshaw where I got to worry about, oh, man, I'm good. I'm about to sign this and get up out of here. Remember, it's halftime when Spencer gets the news about Coop, so he sprints over to the hospital and he sees Patience, but no one knows who shot her, how bad it is. They just know that Coop is shot. We see her in here laying down. The nurses and the doctors, they like, hey, you got to get out of here. They kick Coop's dad out. Like, let's be real. Spencer and Patience, they wouldn't have made it this far back, especially into the ER. But they're back here and he's looking through the window and he sees his best friend laying here shot. Layla comes over to the Baker family's house to talk to Liv because she needs someone to talk to outside of her father. When she gets there, Jordan answers the door, but Liv, she's not there to talk to her because she's over at Spencer's house. So Jordan's just sitting there. He gives her a hug because he wants to make sure that everything is good with her because they're friends also. They grew up with each other. And he's asking her, who's looking out for you with everything going on? How are you? And you know she's not okay because she's having these nightmares about Carrie and she keeps reliving it. So Jordan says, I'll sit here and I'll talk to you about it. I'll listen to you. The situation with Carrie and Layla, we see her reliving it. And Carrie saying, look, your family abandoned you. We can end all this hurt. And Layla saying, that's not what's going on. They did abandon me, but I also see forgiveness in my family. Now, Carrie's trying to end it. And let me tell you guys something. If you know someone that is suicidal, refer them to get help, do what you can, but also help yourself and don't let them talk you into believing something that you don't believe in. And Layla was firm on this. That's not what I believe. Now, I know I was hurt, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. So she's trying to talk her out of it. But Layla's like, I'm not killing myself with you. They're still trying to convince Spencer, hey, man, like, we believe in you. This is what you need to do. You need to go to school. Pursue football. This is what you were made for. You were built from this. From the time you picked up a football, this is all you could dream of. And they're just telling him, be strong, man. Do something. But he's sitting there not talking. Darnell shows back up to the house and him and Spencer go out to get something to eat. And Darnell's saying, hey, man, what are you doing, Spence? The same thing that everybody else is telling him. Man, you got your mom losing sleep. We know you too smart to blow a scholarship, a full ride to a school to play football. And he's just talking about, we all have pain. We all experienced it. Me, you, Dylan. So I know what you're going through. And Spencer's saying, man, it's a little bit different. This time it's Coop. The episode is jumping back and forth from when Coop got shot to the present time. Back at the hospital, Spencer gets a text and he sees that it's Preach. So he goes outside. Preach goes and he comes to try to talk to Spencer, but Patience follows and she pushes him like, this is all your fault. And Preach is like, nah, man, let me explain, man. I'm the reason she has a chance of living. And you got Spencer talking about you need to explain it right. Spencer, you ain't no thug, man. This man just shot a lawyer. You ain't gonna be talking to Preach like that. But Preach is saying, look, Mo was shooting at Coop. I was shooting at Mo. I thought I shot her first, but I didn't. And the reason I dropped her off at the hospital and left is because I'm on parole. If he showed up with blood on him and say he shot somebody, Preach is going back. It ain't no getting out from that. So he made the right decision. Get her to the hospital and then get up out of there. See? Preach is like, man, once all this information gets out, I'm going to jail because Mo is dead. I mean, he can probably get a Laura Baker. We could probably get her to come defend him and say, hey, it was self-defense. Mo shot at, and then Mo planted the drugs. We could get him off. I mean, it'd be tough because he still is not supposed to have no gun. Patience is starting to blame this on herself, and people normally do this in traumatizing events because she feels like, I told Coop, oh man, don't start nothing with Mo. There's nothing there, because Mo was trying to help Patience out, and then everything happened. Mo set her up. Mo shot her. So you can see why Patience thinks, and it's all because of me this happened. They're rolling Coop to the emergency room, or the operating room. She's going to surgery. And the doctor stops. She's talking to the dad and everybody. Like, hey, you got to get back here. We got to get her into surgery. They would have been like, hey, you need to go. They probably would have called security, because if Coop really needs surgery right now, the head doctor is not about to stop and talk to you guys. This surgeon is about to go do surgery and try to save a life, not inform y'all everything. Like, not right now. Get back, please. We're trying to save Coop. Layla's in the studio. She's finishing up Coop's album, and you hear Coop in the background rapping, hoping that she isn't the one in the casket. Unfortunately, she's the one in the casket. And artists are normally worth more dead than they are alive, so Coop's album might take off. Layla's in here and she's flashing back to the incident with her and Carrie, and in comes her dad. Now her dad, he's just trying to be around her because he knows what she went through and he almost lost her. Meaning she was up there, she could have fell off or did whatever Carrie did. We don't know quite yet what Carrie actually did. But he's sitting here and he ends up slipping up and say, hey, I spoke to your therapist. And she's like, you spoke to my therapist? I'm like, oh, bro, she's definitely not going to open up to you now. You going behind her back and talking to her therapist? That's supposed to be private between the two. So she gets up and says, me and Jordan have plans. Billy's talking to his wife and he's like, man, Jordan, he really risked his health. And Spencer, he been training with him. Anything could have happened out there, and he really risked his life. But Laura corrects him and says, no, Spencer didn't risk Jordan's health or anything. Jordan did that on his own. Spencer just helped. It wasn't his fault. But she says, hey, I never seen Jordan play like how he did in the championship game. So it actually worked out. Remember, Spencer left at halftime. Now Jordan's finally getting into the game, and it looks like they're down by 2 with 1:35 left. Crenshaw is up 26-24, and Jordan is in the game. Jordan out there, he doing his thing. He looking like a fake Patrick Mahomes. We're going to call him Patrick Mago home because he is slow out there. I'm talking about his running is slow, but he throwing touchdowns, though. Jordan doing his thing. But it all comes down to the last play of the California State Championship game. Crenshaw 33, Beverly Hills 38. Crenshaw has to score. Crenshaw has time for one more play. They in the huddle. The ref's back there, hand on his hips, ready to throw a flag because they're over here giving motivational speeches. They haven't even called a play yet. They're in the huddle. We're going to do this for Spencer. Yeah, man, he carried us his whole way. Tweet, flag, delay a game, offense. They in here, and then they talking about break. They ain't even call no play. But we going to see how this plays out. They were in the huddle. They were hyped. Chris gets the ball. He's, juke move. Oh, bop, bop. They got him. He goes down. He stretched out though. Does he have it? The ref's looking at it. No. It's short. Beverly Hills wins the game. That's back-to-back state championships for Jordan. They didn't do it for Spencer, man. They blew it for Spencer. Both teams show up to the hospital at the biggest game of their lives just to support Spencer. He's like, I can't believe y'all came. They said, where else would we be? You're our brother. Since he played with both teams, he built a bond with all of them. Football is just a game. That thing, when the whistle blows at the end of the game, life continues on. So they came to show as much support as they could to Spencer. Grace comes out to give them an update of what's going on. Now, they made it through surgery, but the surgery was a little rocky. And when you hear that, you're like, oh, Lord, what happened now? But they're saying they won't know how severe everything was until Coop wakes up. The thing is, they don't know if Coop is going to wake up. Darnell's been with Spencer. Liv shows up. She's like, did you get through him? Nah. Spencer's going to do what Spence does. But Darnell calls him out and says, hey, look, you're using Crenshaw as a crutch. Whenever something gets too hard for you, you come back here and you just mope around, and then in a couple of days, you'll be back to better. So Darnell's saying, what's actually scaring you out of here? What's stopping you from doing anything? Jordan and Layla, they meet up because this is what they have planned. And he's saying, hey, I'm going to swing by Spencer's house if you want to roll. And she's like, nah. She doesn't really want to be around Spencer because, they used to date. Now Liv is dating her. And it's just, she doesn't want to be around it. And Jordan is telling her, look, if you just take a little bit of my advice, you should probably open up to your dad and talk to him a little bit. Because if not, that's why he's going to want to keep you close. And she's thinking about it. But that's the best thing. And I tell y'all in every show we watch, conversation rules the nation. You talk to somebody, you express what you have on your inside, your feelings, it'll be a lot easier on you. We end up seeing that Liv actually talked Carrie off of the edge. And what she did was she told her some relatable things. She said, I've been there before. And there was actually the night that Carrie, you saved me when I was at my lowest point. So what she's trying to say is, Carrie, where's a comfortable spot that you were in? Let's start there. And she says the only place that she's really felt comfortable was at the rehabilitation center. So Layla's saying, let's go there. Let's start there. And she saves Carrie's life. So I applaud her for that. She stuck there. She helped a friend and she prevented her from committing suicide. Layla takes the advice from Jordan and she actually talks to JP and she starts to open up on why she's feeling the way she does. And she says that him not being there all the time and then her mother passing, that's what really got her all worked up and has everything on her shoulders. And she's trying to do everything by herself because her father is gone. And JP, he understands that. And that's why he's here now trying to make up for that lost time. Even though you can still be here and you can start from where you guys are and pick up. And like I said, this makes Layla feel a lot better actually being able to express herself to what is the problem, her father being gone. Spence was at the house looking at his letter of intent and he gets a text message. So he sprints up to the hospital. And when he goes in the room, it's because Coop is up. Now, when he goes in there, he's looking at her and he's like, Coop. And she kind of plays a joke on him like, who are you? So he's like, uh-oh, you know what I'm saying? Can she remember who I am? And she's like, oh, fool, you see your face. So it's good that we see that Coop is back up. Now, we don't know if she's paralyzed or anything, but what we do know is she's conscious. After the talk Layla and JP had, he understands it and he wants to make things right. So just like Carrie, where's a comfortable place for her? They take Layla over to the baker's house and she moves in. Now she's probably taking Spencer's old room. I'd be like, hey, I still got stuff up there. But at least she's in a space that she feels comfortable. She's with her best friend and a family that's actually going to be there for her so she can have that family environment. And Laura tells JP, you can stop by whenever. He's like, all right, cool. Billy's over here watching game film and it looks like Chris crossed the line, but I don't know. That knee may have been down and hey, I'm going to go with the refs on this. Knee down, no touchdown. Crenshaw lost. Spencer comes in to apologize to Billy because he left the game and also he was training Jordan. And Billy, he's like, don't worry about it. I still feel like we're the state champs because there was no instant replay, but we actually won that game. And Spencer's saying I couldn't sign to Toledo because I thought Coop was going to be in a coma, but now that she's up, I still can't do it. So Billy, he's upset and he has every right to be upset, even though there's no replay, but he feels like they actually won that game. Now, I ain't no fool, Billy, but his knees were down before he fell forward to put that ball over the line. Y'all did not win that game. I've told you I'm going with the refs and I ain't no fool. When that knee hit the ground, it's over. Y'all didn't win without Spencer James. Y'all needed Spencer James. And Billy's telling them, look, we won that game without Spencer James. We'll be just fine without Spencer James. And he's also telling them, your job isn't to protect Jordan. That's mine. That's mine. Me and Laura's. And also, you're not going to sign this scholarship because you don't expect them to fall apart. When you leave, you're thinking everyone's just going to fall apart, but they're not. Life is going to go on. You're just scared. And he says, who is Spencer James if he ain't the hero? Because we know Spencer tries to do everything for everybody. Preach and Patience, they in the hospital. They chilling with Coop because she's up. And in comes a police officer. And he's like, okay, Coop, what happened this night that you got shot? Coop saying, oh, it was self-defense. Mo shot me. I shot back. I passed out. I don't even know how I ended up in here. I always tell y'all, never talk to the police without a lawyer presence because they'll take anything that you say and flip and turn them. And Preacher's like, hey, she's going to get a lawyer. We're not going to say anything else. And the detective says, hey, when we come back, Yeah, we want to know. We want to know where that gun is, because you said it was self-defense, but there wasn't no gun found. We gonna be on it. We're gonna keep in touch with you, Tamia Cooper. I did a Who is Tamia Cooper video that should be dropping probably tomorrow. And Patience is saying exactly what I said about Coop. She said, I've been blaming myself for this. I've been blaming Preach for this. But all of the drama that follows Coop is Coop. She just lied to the cops and put herself back out there to protect Preach. Now, I mean, that's good because Preach did save her life and bring her to the hospital. But all of the drama around Coop is because of Coop. The twins, they put together a tent for Layla since she's at the house and this is her comfortable spot. Now, when she was talking to Jordan earlier, she had mentioned she remember coming over. They made a tent. Jordan broke Billy's MVP trophy by trying to make a tent with it. So this is just comforting for her, and it's, you know, a good memory that she had. So the twins, they're actually trying to help her out. Spencer goes back to Corey's gravesite and he's telling them, you know what? I realize I'm going to go ahead and sign this letter of intent and go to Toledo State. So he signs that. Our boy is going to college, people. 3 seasons, and my boy is going to college. We made it, y'all. We watched this man grow right in front of us. All right, there you go. Episode 1 of season 4 of All American. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen with Coop and this detective. Do you think that she's going to be able to beat this self-defense, or is going to come back on Preach? Let me know what you all think below. I'm Mo.J. If you like the content on the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching. I'm out.
Jimmy on a beat, boy.